Okay, welcome back to the next part of the video. In the last video, we brought the XR2 from Mars over to our Venus encounter, and we made a couple of mid-course corrections along the way, and we're pretty lucky with our mid-course corrections in that they only required, I think the first one was like 10 meters a second, and the second one was pretty low as well. So we have pretty much passed Venus. We'll have it in sight for a few more hours as we pull away. Let's get inside the XR2. I guess we might as well rotate around so we can see Venus. That's Earth and the Moon there in front of us. And for now, we're just going to warp time ahead here in a minute to pull away from Venus. And once we get a little way out, we're not going to go very far, and then we're going to start doing our mid-course corrections for Earth. And we want to make sure that we do the first one pretty early so that we can make sure that we're in plane and on track with Earth, because as we pull away from Venus, we're going to have, we'll probably get quite a bit of variance in our plan just due to the, the gravitational permutations and whatnot. Alright, let's go ahead now and warp time ahead. That's 10, that's 100. Go ahead and bring up orbit MFD on this side. You can see the gravitational influence of Venus is still 0.97. It was probably got pretty close to 1, 1.0 down at periapsis. And going out to 1,000. And we'll rotate around so we can keep it in view. And probably around maybe 0.4, we're going to start looking at what it takes to do a mid-course correction. Yeah. Okay, let's go with that. Let's start thinking about what we have to do. So we'll bring up TransX on both sides, and we'll go forward over here to view the Earth encounter. Actually, now that I think about it, I think we are going to have to at least get to the point where Venus is 0.01. That way we're out of the sling plan. I think we're going to have to do that. So let's go ahead and warp time ahead a little farther. And now we're down to 0.01, and our plan just updated. Okay, so now we're going to go back to TransX, and we should be able to view the encounter on this side. Yeah, now we've got maneuver. Okay. So we're going to turn maneuver mode on. And we'll just see, which variables help us the most. That's taken a lot of prograde, and that probably won't be the best variable. Let's go ahead and reset that and try something else. And before I forget the date, let's move it forward, something like that. Let's see what outward does. That's a pretty good help. And we'll probably need plane change as well. And now we're back down to Earth. Okay, I don't really think we're going to get any improvement by playing around with the plan, or playing around with the maneuver, so I'm going to go ahead and burn that. That's 161 delta V. It's our biggest burn so far, but if we wait and keep going out, it's just going to get worse. So we want to make this correction now, because it'll have the, we'll get the most benefit with the least amount of delta V, and then as we get closer to Earth, we'll probably have to do more corrections. But when we get away from Venus, we definitely want to do the first one as soon as we can. So let's bring the HUD back up, and let's get rotated. Okay, now, just going to bump time forward a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do the burn in 5 seconds. And I think I started that a little early again.
Translation.
Yeah. Not the most clean burn I've ever done. I started it just a tad early and overshot. But no damage. Now hopefully that burn will keep us reasonably on track with Earth. But again, I imagine we'll have to do a couple of more corrections as we go. And right now we're at 57794, and the journey over to Earth is going to be pretty quick actually, because we're doing it so we're not doing a whole half orbit, we're basically doing a quarter orbit to catch up to Earth, which is why our encounter velocity is so high. But we're going to get there quickly because of doing it this way. Matter of fact, we've only got about 55 days to go. So let's warp time ahead. Okay, that's coming back down now.
Warning, oxygen low.
That's fine.
System reset.
We still have enough oxygen. We still got 41 days worth. The reason we got the warning was just because of the percentage. Once it drops below, I believe 10%, then you start getting a warning. It doesn't pay attention to the fact that we're going to arrive at our destination, with oxygen to spare. It just strictly is a percentage warning. So let's go. We still got 30. 30 days or so. And I don't think that's going to close down entirely by the time we get to Earth, so let's do one more mid-course. So we'll turn maneuver mode on, and we'll go through the variables again, and we'll start by bumping the date out to, we'll go 9400. Should give us enough time to set it up. And let's see, yeah, outward's treating us really well. It's only 22 meters per second, that's not bad. And let's see what alter does, or rather change plane. And that's got us in there. Go to hyper. And we'll go with that. I'm still, at this point, I'm still just running myself right, trying to run myself right through the middle of the planet so that any drift I have will be, you know, relatively minimal, hopefully. Okay, view over to target.
Rotation.
And we'll get our green X centered. Of course, it's going to go around to the other side. Alright, gonna do the burn in about 2 minutes. Let's speed that up. And this is gonna be 23 meters per second, so that's not bad. Okay, burning in 5 seconds. Couple clicks of main engine.
Translation.
And view to maneuver and off. And we're still pretty good there. Now what I'm going to do is bring up orbit, and I'm going to reference Earth. Copy that information to the HUD, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate
Rotation.
so we can see Earth. And there's the Earth and Moon right there. And now we are just about 32 days out, so about a month. And one thing I might want to do too is bring up interplanetary MFD just for its more accurate map system. And I can reference Earth. And it says my periapsis at Earth is going to be 8. 8,000 kilometers. I don't know at what point this becomes highly accurate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trust it, and I'm going to start making some adjustments now according to what interplanetary MFD is telling me. Let me just do a little bit of
Translation.
translation. And we'll go with that for now. That's got us down to 3,500 kilometers. I really wish TransX had the accuracy that interplanetary does for this one purpose, because otherwise there's just so many things you can do with TransX that you can't really do with interplanetary, but the accuracy of that is just so nice. Anyway, let's march forward. Actually, it's even drifting quite a bit itself, so I guess it's not that accurate out this far. Yeah, okay, whatever. Okay. Well, since that was wrong, let's tap some more translation in the other direction, as long as we're out here. Just to basically undo what I did further back. It'll end up costing me less delta V later. And this is just translation, so I'm not using hardly any fuel here. And we'll go with that for now and just move forward and kind of see what our numbers are doing between these two MFDs. So this one says we're getting closer, and that one says we're getting closer. Okay, about 18 days out. And let's translate again. Both MFDs agree that this translation is bringing us closer to Earth. Now, one thing I will do, I don't want to have an inclination of 90 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and set up a maneuver to help me figure out how to get an inclination closer to, something closer to the equator. I don't want to come in over the poles. So we'll bump this out to 9,400. Like that. And let's see if plane change. In one side, out the other. And we may not need that plane change at all. I might reset it. Let's see what outward does. Yeah, that's bringing the inclination down. Okay, and let me reset that plane change just to see if I just don't even need it at all. Yeah, it looks like actually that plane change does help a little bit, so let's go ahead and bring it back in. Okay. Now a little bit with outward to see if we can bring that minimum altitude down. And we'll go with that.
Rotation.
Okay, now we're going to have a 20 meter per second, close to 20 meters per second burn here in just about a minute, but I'm a warping time ahead at 10. Okay, a couple clicks of main engine here.
Translation.
Okay.
Rotation.
Let's rotate back up so we can see Earth. And now we've got 2 weeks to go. Let's check our locks. Still got 21 days of locks. Cutting it pretty close. And what we can do also, when this gets down below 14, we can jettison the locks payload, and that'll get rid of 355.2 kilograms of mass. Speaking of mass, we still have quite a bit of, yeah, see we still have almost 7,000 meters per second worth of DV. So it's not like fuel is going to be a problem on this mission. Okay, 100x, 1000x, 10,000. And the closer we get, the more DV is required, so we're just going to make as many adjustments as necessary while we're still farther out. Let's check our locks. We're down to 19 days. So let's see what interplanetary MFD has to say about our PEA. Let's warp time ahead a little bit, see which way it's going. It's coming down, actually. So I guess we won't worry about it. Okay, we're 8 days out. Got a week to go. You can see the PEA here, according to interplanetary MFD, it's not really moving much, so it's probably getting pretty accurate at this point. That being the case, let's see what kind of
translation,
benefit we can get from doing some small translations. That's going up. And we're going to bring the PEA all the way down to a pretty low number because we want to do some atmospheric braking. We'll start with it there because we still got a ways to go, a little ways, I mean just 5 days, and we'll just keep an eye on it and see what happens. Looks like it's going up a little bit. Okay, that LOX tank is empty, so let's dump it. And actually it'll be interesting, I think, to look at the burn time. See, we've got 6.974 of DV, and let's just see what happens when we dump the container. It won't be much. I mean, it might just be a very tiny amount.
payload deployed.
And now we're up to 7.092, so we gained, I guess 100 meters a second or close to it. So now that's going to be drifting around in space. Alright, let's move in a little closer. Actually, let me bring interplanetary up on this side. Yeah, it looks like interplanetary MFD, its math model is pretty accurate when you get in within 4 days or so, which is a lot more accurate than TransX. Okay, now we're 2 days out. And we're almost home. Look at it. Nice. Okay. Alrighty, so we made it from Venus to Earth, and while we're still out this far, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the scenario at this point, so Control S, and I'm going to stop the video here and come back, and we may try a couple of different approaches to Earth. We'll see what we want to do. But if you have any questions about this part of the video, why did I do this or that, go ahead and leave those comments down below. If you have any suggestions, if you saw something I did that didn't make sense, let me know, and I will see you in the next video.